Hello, hello, hello. We welcome you to our online book club, Reading River. Every week we go live right here on YouTube to chat about a few chapters. No spoilers ahead of schedule, no pressure, just good books and great conversation. And whether you're a longtime reader or just getting started, you're welcome here. Now, the genre for this group is called Noire because we will be covering books written by Black authors. I did want to go ahead and introduce the panel. You got Sheen, you got me, Nini, Debbie, and Toya. And the book that we're covering is My Soul to Keep by Kennedy Ryan. Now, this is from the book number one from the Soul trilogy. Uh, the hmm, the previous episode was chapters 1 through 2. So today we're going to try to get through 3 and then 6. So if you haven't read 1 and 2, please go back and read it because it's worth the read and then catch up. And we're going to record this live and you can kind of go from there. So ladies, before I get started, how's everybody doing?
Doing well. I can't complain, Nene.
I hear you. I hear you. So first, before I get started with chapter 3, did anybody have anything to say about chapter 1 and 2 that we may not have covered?
No, I don't.
Nothing for me.
Cool, 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 cool. Cool, cool, cool. All right, so just to go ahead and get started. So it looks like on chapter 3, we finally start getting Ryson's perspective. It starts off because it looks like the last chapter or chapter 2 was where Kai heard him performing and she was mesmerized. I think homegirl said she was even feeling naked. She was feeling exposed because he was playing so amazing. So now we start off with chapter 3 going to his perspective, right? And he starts and we get a lot more backstory about Ryson, right? So on chapter 3, he starts off by even talking about by 11 years old, he was taking the stage at Royal Albert Hall in London for the first time. So we know that he's been playing for a very long time. And then he brings it back. He brings that up to bring it back to the moment when he was playing and he first notices Kai. He says, everyone around her claps, but she doesn't. Her hands hang at her sides. Her expression hovers somewhere between devastation and delight. And when music truly affects me, I don't clap either. I don't stand at my feet, I absorb. I let the music change me, touch me, and possess me. That's what she's doing. I recognize it. And everyone around her appreciated my music. But I can see that this girl, communed with it. And I thought it was interesting that he brought out that connection. And I'm glad he broke that down. So I kind of just made a mental note of that because I was like, okay, this dude, he's trying to connect, and that's when he sees her, and then he starts to describe her. So he says, and I'm on the digital page 15. He says, if I take her in parts, maybe I'll do a better job of this. She has this wide mouth of color, of fire-blasted rose petals. Her chin is slightly pointed, narrow, but her face widens and flares at her high cheekbones. Her eyes, the darkest, richest, sable, glintless, fleckless, bottomless brown, that's a lot going on, carries a dramatic tilt, and I'm sure a glance from her could seduce me. This combined with her honeyed skin makes me wonder if she has Asian ancestry somewhere down the line. Her eyebrows are thick and smooth over an abundance of eyelashes, so thick and so long they look fake, but I know they're not. There's nothing fake about this girl. No artifice. Not even makeup. Her beauty is raw and unfiltered. Long dark hair runs down her back. Of all things, she wears a Madonna t-shirt from the Virgin Tour. Her skinny jeans mold her slim legs, small feet, and toms. So, based on that, how do y'all think Kai looks?
I'm not sure. Um, that's all. You know what?
Yeah.
I was a little bit confused by this chapter until you broke it down. I didn't realize that you were taking this from the point of view of of what you call it,
Bryson,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking that old girl was bisexual.
Oh,
I was like, wait a minute now. Now you in love. Whoa, who's this girl? Girl, I guess I should turn to audiobooks. Because when you hear others read it out, it makes more sense. I get it now. Okay. I was so confused, y'all. I thought she was bisexual.
so you thought, okay, gotcha. I got where you coming from. So you thinking, okay, you got this is still first person Kai talking. I got you. I
Yeah,
got
I'm like, wait a minute, wasn't you didn't you just catch the vapors from rice and now you got a now some other little tenderoni done caught your eye? How many of these folks in here
well,
are you looking at now? You're a bit
somebody
greedy,
doing
aren't
something in the
you?
background. Somebody
Yeah.
opening something. Somebody opening something in the background. You may want to mute it. But now, you right though because I know you was like, man, well, she now she looking at the honey and the Madonna T-shirt.
I promise you, bringing her down in the skinny jeans and shit. I was like, word. Oh, okay, all right, but I'm thinking maybe she might be. I don't know. You see how like Debbie was able to give us kind of like a visual on Ryson?
Yeah, matter of
Did
fact,
y'all have that for Kai?
no. Now
Right.
it's true that
Okay.
I did. I did put up a picture of when Debbie thought of the person of rice, and I am putting that picture up. So and it's kind of like I think it's one of the picture. I'll send it to y'all too, so y'all can just take a look. But yeah. So I did, but with Kai, the part that got me was that, like you said, I heard the features, but then what threw me off is that we knew her mom is Korean, but she was adopted. But when Ryson said, he makes he said makes me wonder if she has Asian ancestry somewhere down the line, leads me to believe that it wasn't very strong, like she was like biracial. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right,
Do,
because
do
Yeah.
y'all know the girl on I don't know, like I didn't really watch Love and Hip Hop, but she okay, so y'all might know like she was what's
we
the boy name in
see.
that band group? But she ended up starting dating like Tay Diggs. Her name is like April something. She's Omarion's
Oh,
baby mama.
right,
Yes.
the one who was dating the
That's
kid.
who I'm kind of picturing.
Oh, I
If
know
I
Oh,
had
her.
to
okay.
picture somebody.
I'm sorry.
Her name
What
is
you say,
April
Debbie?
Jones, I think it
Yes.
is.
Her.
So like if I
Yeah.
had to
Okay.
picture
Yeah.
somebody for Kai, I would think of her, I guess.
Ah,
Okay.
Okay.
cool.
And
Got you.
I don't know why my visual I didn't put anybody in there. I just knew
Right.
okay, Korean and black
You thought that?
right.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. Got you.
Is what I got. So even with that strong description, I was just
Mhm.
like I didn't read into it. I guess I don't know why,
Yeah,
but
same
yeah,
here.
I think it was just a little bit too strong of a description. So is she? Is this what she is, or are you describing what you want her to be?
Yeah. I'm not good with
Is-
descriptions in general, though. So, like y'all
Yeah.
had to help me when it came to ricing. So with Kai, I don't know. I don't know for anybody. I need like just show me a picture, and then I can kind of go from there.
Okay.
So Rison's that chapter 3 was very short. I want to say it may have been like 2 pages or 3 pages. Good for you, Ryson. Just go ahead and get to the point. But it looks like it switches back on chapter 4 to back to Kai. So now it sounds like he Ryson was looking for. I mean, is looking at her at the crowd, and he's mesmerized. And now we move on, like maybe I don't know, minute, second, 50 minutes, I don't know. But now we're coming from the first person of Kai. So we're going into her thoughts. And it sounds like she's talking to her best friend Santos, but we start to learn a little bit more about Kai. She's talking about how she doesn't schmooze, but she brings up pretty good reason. So I'm on the digital page 16, and she says, I don't do schmooze. This is actually about my no schmooze rule. It's a different one. Life has taught me that you survive by your rules. And when you don't follow the rules, you get hurt. Even worse, Sometimes you hurt everyone else. My daddy taught me that when he ran off with the church secretary. Dun dun dun. And then she goes into, I know it sounds weird from someone who wants to be a singer, but like all rules, this one has a reason. My last run in with a big rock star in this town, let's just say I remember of that night, would not make my mama proud. So we can see why she's kind of apprehensive, even though, like, Sheen was talking about this dude giving her the vapors and she feeling exposed. We see why she's reluctant. We see why she's apprehensive. It makes sense. Before I move on, to anybody wanted to add to it?
She's given us more insight to her father.
Girl,
That's a big
secretary.
one. I left with the church secretary.
Girl,
Wow.
I mean, the church secretary. Like how?
Couldn't just be your
Yeah.
secretary. Had to be the church secretary. Had to bring the Lord's messenger into this. Oh my goodness.
With the work secretary, at least you see him every day. The church secretary, how did you even see this secretary? Like once a week, once a month? Like how? I don't know. Maybe I'm just tripping. The
You know
church.
what else?
So
I'm
like,
wondering if her father was a pastor.
Mm,
If we'll find out about that.
we
If
will.
she
I
also
was
grew up in the church.
Mm,
so learning what we've just learned, well, in this chapter about with her making that statement, do we feel like this is going to be the cause of her hesitancy about with love and her fear of giving in to someone or whatever the case is?
I would like to assume so, because that would make sense to me. If you see your daddy run off and he can't even fix the step, and your mom on her deathbed, he can't even come, or you know what I mean? I would be reluctant. I'd be like, these men ain't ish, like I probably would be.
Yeah. I think it's very interesting on what causes people to become hesitant on love based off of what has happened in their lives with their parents, you know?
Yeah, because they say like for boys, like men, like girls and boys, not in a weird way, but they say like for boys, like their first love is their mom, and like for girls, their first love is their dad, and not in a weird way, but that's the bar is set at that person, and then when you start to make these different relationships with people, that's the first person, like that's the where the bar is set, with just
Right.
different. So it would make sense to me that you know if her dad was clowning and he was supposed to be a man of worship, then it's going to be like, man, these dudes ain't loyal.
Yeah, it's gonna make her distrust guys. So, oh,
Yeah. Well,
just a thought.
no, it's a good thought. I appreciate that. So she moves on to talking about Santos. Now, I thought this part was interesting. So I'm on page 18 of my digital book. And she goes into talking about first Santos gives her a compliment talking about her butt, talking about it look fine to me. And I'm like, oh, okay, Santos. But then she says, Santos is gorgeous in a smoldering Latin lover kind of way. But he's also been my best friend since we were 7. Think your brother checking you out and gross. So I said, Santos. Sorry, excuse me. I'm like, Santos bringing heat like that? He's a smoldering Latin love. I'm like, I ain't know Santos was doing it like that, man. I don't know what I was picturing.
I'm sorry. I didn't take it as that. I took it as, like homeboy kind of giving you, you know what I'm saying? Like that compliment. Like, girl, you look good. You killing it right now or whatever like that, but not in that kind of like
Well,
sexualized way.
well
You know what
no.
I'm saying?
I'm sorry. Well, no, I wasn't thinking about he was saying it to her in a sexual way. I guess what I was surprised was by his looks. I was surprised that I thought Santos was. I hate to say this because the way I don't know
I
the
thought it
way.
was a girl at first too, because she kept on saying "san,"
Yeah,
which means I was thinking of even like "san,"
or he
but
didn't like
then
girls. I was kind of thinking that like he was one of those friends who he may have not have been attracted to women. That's what I was thinking.
that was coming across my mind too. But the first thing I thought was a woman. Wow, I'm over two in this gender thing. I got to tell you, I got to reread some stuff a little bit better in this book because, yeah, I'm getting it all kinds of wrong.
Yeah, I hit that one wrong too because I was thinking the other way. Like he was not like he was a girlfriend,
Mm.
liking, guys.
Yeah, I did too.
That's what I don't know why I figured that, but I'm glad I wasn't the only one that had that thought.
What about you, Toya? What you thought?
I mean, I guess I didn't think in that kind of way because I guess like growing up with like brothers and around a lot of my dads, I just thought like you can have guy friends that be like, dang, they do look good, but you just don't see them in that way kind of thing. But you can sometimes tell like it's a just like a chemistry that's there, but just it's like a nah, we would never act on it kind of thing. So that's just kind of how I looked into it.
Oh, for real? That's
Yeah, yeah.
man.
Because I guess just my mindset with guy friends that
Yeah.
sometimes, because I've had guy friends that people mistaken us being a couple. And I'm like, what the world? No, but we may have came across that way just from our chemistry. So I don't know. I guess that's where my mind first thought.
I feel that. I feel no. It's a good point. And to be honest with you, when we finish, I'm gonna go back to that point. So hold a pin. So put a
Okay.
pin in that. Put a pin in that. But we did. We learned not only Santos look good. I'm talking about look good, like Latin lover kind of way good. Cause
Right.
that's different. I'm thinking he like this pipsqueakish kind of dude who likes autographs and celebrity. That's why I guess I thought anyway. But now that she didn't drop the bomb that he's good looking, smoldering good looking. I'm like, okay, Santos, okay. So, but then we learn even more about him. Like we learn how he's like concerned for her. That he wanted her to like join like a grief support group, and he's like concerned with her eating. So I was like, okay, this is like a cool, good looking, cool friend. So he's I mean, I definitely understand where you're coming from as far as um what is it? That's my homeboy. I would never cross that line. I definitely respect that. Me as the reader, though, I'm like, okay, okay. But then it looks like so as they're talking, right? So they're over the table talking. She's moved away from Bryson. She's moved away from Bryson. She's over here. Her and Santos is at the food table. There's some bruschetta. There's some little breadsticks, whatever. It looks like she's going into the audition. So Kai. Santos, they're talking. He goes and she talks about the audition, which sounded really. It's funny how nonchalant when she was describing it, and I was like, man, that's it sucks that that's so common. Because what she said, what did she say? Um, on page like 19, she says she comes in for the audition. Um, what did he say? She says when he said she says what happened, and he said, and as she's telling the story, he said first he recommended augment of what, breast implants. You're kidding? Nope, at least two sizes up. He said, what did you do? I just kind of stared at him with my small offended breasts. I didn't know what to say. He just kept going on, and Santos is like, he had more. And then she goes down to say, yeah, he had very little to say. He just unzipped his pants and looked at the spot in front of him where I guess I was supposed to drop to my knees and suck him off. And so I like how Santos was like, yo, tell me you punched him in the face. But it's jacked up that was like, so I hate to say nonchalant, but it's like it was, while she was I'm sure she was upset. It was kind of like, I guess what, cavalier, you know what I mean? Because it was like an everyday thing. That's what kind of sucks to me, and I'm sure it's like every day in like LA and all. Well, I wouldn't say LA, any place to be honest with you, but that kind of sucks. But anyway, as she's telling this story, Grady and Ryson overhears the story, and then you hear, I think it was Ryson that said, "Are you taking requests?" And then that's when she chokes, and then they have this talk. Grady introduces them, all this good stuff, and then it sounds like Ryson picks at her about her southern accent. And there's a reason I'm kind of bringing it up and then kind of skipping through it, because now after that happens or they have their first encounter. That sounds a little kind of awkward, but not to me. It kind of sounds like an everyday thing. What did y'all think about that first interaction?
I guess even before the interaction, going back to her interaction at her, just going back real quick to her audition, that was, I'm looking at kind of like the year that she might have wrote this. Would this might have been right around the Me Too time
Hmm. That's a
to
good
kind of
point.
bring, awareness to everything, that goes on because we've heard about, come on,
Yeah,
the casting couch for,
that's a
h-
good point.
how
That's
many years or what have you, you know what I
yeah.
mean? But even then also the interaction where even before he gets to that, telling her that she needs to get breast implants, he needs to go up. Did y'all see online earlier this week where one of these little crusty behind rappers actually told that to a young lady on camera?
What? No, who was the
Yes.
rapper who said it? I don't. I have no idea this
I
happened.
I forget what this boy's name is, but like,
She needs breast
yeah,
implants.
he's sitting there with her, and I guess they joke around with each other, like go back and forth. But then he looks at her, he's like, "Man, you need to go buy some titties." Yeah, man, and that's like her face was like that, like.
Wait,
Oh my God, I can't, and believe me, he looks hideous. He has bigger breasts than she does.
wait. I'm sorry. I gotta ask more questions. So, was this
Thank
a
you.
podcast where them two are together, or was?
Yeah. Like it's her podcast and he was her guest, and I guess they were just yes.
Oh
And
my
he said that to
gosh!
her. I could not. I was like,
Are you serious?
yes. And so
No,
when I read that, I was just like, damn,
no. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
deja vu up in this mug for real. Like there's no, you know what I'm saying?
No
Like,
kidding.
basically, she's not making this up. I just saw this shit this week. You know what I'm saying? Like her writing already feels super real to me because I just seen video footage. This exact scene.
What? Well, to
The
piggyback,
disrespect that you receive on so many levels, like as a woman.
you know, to piggyback off of what you said, it looks like the book was copywritten in 2015. So this sounds like it was well before the Me Too movement, which is interesting because it was almost like Kennedy Ryan was ahead of her time, kind of. But
Right. Or
this,
just that saying of like when the whole Me Too was coming out, how people were saying it had been going on. They just started
mm,
talking about it or making it
Right.
so
This
people
has been
actually
going
telling
on
their
for a very long
story.
time, not just with the Me Too
Right. So
movement.
I think you
Yeah.
just hit it because
I
it's
think
been
now with the
happening.
social media that we have now has brought voices to everyone, to get it across, and that's what made it. That is what has made it relevant.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
this stuff was touched on way back when, and clearly because she's included it in the book. So
and I think you were saying something else too, Toy. You was adding. I
No,
think
I
you.
was agreeing with Debbie. I was just saying, yeah, the same thing. That like I think when the Me Too was coming out, for some people it might have seemed new because it was finally being people actually telling their story publicly or going to publics or people that could put it out there. But I think it's just been going on prior, way prior for that. Like they said, a long time. So I think Kennedy just hit it on here because she also, I guess, believed that this been happening.
Dang, that's a good point, ladies. I literally didn't even think about you know about I mean that part of time. But man, that's a good point. Thank you for sharing that because that time that totally went it went over my head. Even though we were talking about how jacked up it was. So man, you're right. You're right. Hmm, that's a
I
good
mean, that
point.
was just wow. Disrespectful on all accounts.
It's completely disrespectful. And the thing that gets me is that like there's sometimes where I may see some people online, right? And I'll see like a girl check a guy, right? The guy may say, "Can I get your number?" or something, and she just go off on him and be like, "I ain't giving you my number." And I'm like, "Dang!" I laugh a little, but I'm like, "Man." But sometimes like when you told me that story about the rapper on the podcast saying that to that woman, some dudes don't get checked enough. It's like people got like mad audacity nowadays. Like, who are you to tell me what I need to be doing? I mean, like what kind of surgery I
Right.
need? Like,
That's real.
now if she would have said, "Give
Yeah.
me some of your breasts," now he would have been mad. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
I
Right.
swear,
That's
I don't
real.
understand
That's
why we stopped walking around with our cast iron skillets. Because, see, it was a much simpler time back then when you toted that around with
real.
you. You know what I'm saying? So much. It didn't talk out the side of your neck. All right?
Right.
I promise you, because, yes,
That's a
y'all, go look it up for real. Completely like, are you serious right now? It ain't nothing wrong with the way that y'all look. She looks beautiful, okay? Child, ain't nothing wrong with the way that girl look. And you know what? I can see that young lady, and not doing it this year, maybe not even doing it next year, but possibly down the line going to get her breast done.
Mhm.
All because this fool said that to her.
Yeah. Yeah, and
All
that's
right.
no, you gotta. That's an excellent point, and that's why I don't be too hard on people who do get plastic surgery and stuff like that. Like because it's so hard. Man, life is hard, man. It is hard. And when you walk around and people saying stuff like that to you, that is weird. It's like what? Especially if you're trying to get into the business, like Kai, she's actually trying to get into the business. You know what I mean? So this guy, potentially what he said could have held more weight. And this guy just could have been talking out of his behind to make her self-conscious to do what he wanted her to do. It could have been just a manipulation tactic. For all we know. That sucks.
Ugh.
Ugh.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Just wanted to kind of like hit on that, but yeah, the whole, the way that Ryson comes up behind her like that or whatever, I was like, okay, and we're off.
Yeah. I do love that Santos is so protective because he was really bad about it, and I liked it. I was like,
Hold
Santos,
on,
yeah,
wait. Is Santos,
yeah,
is he now okay, 50 Shades of Grey?
okay.
You remember you got Christian, and then what was old boy that was in love
I forgot his
with
name.
Anna,
I forgot
but
his
was like
name.
also her friend?
I
You know
forgot
what I'm
his name,
saying?
but I know the friend, the sidekick friend. Yeah, that's why I'm
Yeah.
trying to see where Santos is at because I mean like he's down right now. Like to me he's up a couple points. I mean, it's true. Once I found out he looked good, he got more points from me. But he's protective. He wants her to eat. Like those things matter. I think those
Hold on.
things.
Is he okay? Is he her Hakeem to her Moesha? And even then,
Right.
they got it in after a while too.
Right. I was
Hey,
wondering that. I sure was thinking like, because that could
mhm.
happen. Like, I wonder if Santos deeply, not that Kai might, but I was like, I wonder if in the longer, down the road, is it gonna be Santos deeply was feeling hurt? Right.
Oh,
But I
Santos
did,
right
but
now.
you're right, because I thought of that too when like I said, it was self-reflection. But when you said like, I thought of it too of like how about Moesha Hakeem, but Hakeem ended up, was feeling Moesha. So yeah,
And
that's
that came
true.
out of nowhere. Okay, we
Right,
never saw that one
right,
coming.
right.
Shoot,
So,
Hakeem was
so that
helping
that
Mo
all
to.
goes back. That all goes
Hakeem was
back
helping
to
Mo to do dirt, child. Okay, shoot.
So that
So
goes
that was
back to, can
crazy.
we have best friends as men?
Great
Can
question.
can can guys
Absolutely,
can
we
guys and
can.
gals be
right.
platonic? because from what I'm hearing is, and we've
Right.
always heard this is an ongoing debate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Great
And
question.
you have some, because I have a best friend as male, and he's never tried me. I've never tried him. We've never been attracted to each other like that. And
Mm-hmm.
then you have those like Christian Grey and Hakeem and Moesha
Right.
and
Lots
the
of
list
people.
goes on, who have actually crossed that line.
Mm-hmm.
Were they friends, or was there a strong attraction there that had them to be friends, and then they just decided to go across that line?
Great question. So let me make sure I heard the question correctly. Was the question, can best friends be wait, ask the question one more time, Debbie.
Can girls and guys be best friends and not cross that line?
I say yes, I
Can
say
it
yes.
just be can it just be platonic?
I,
Yes.
I say yes.
I say yes, but we have seen it cross.
Yes.
You're right. A
Yeah.
lot of times. True.
I
Mm-hmm.
I remember I was having a discussion with this about someone, and that person, they said, yes, you can be friends, but what usually happens is one person said no while the other person said yes. And so, in other words, because when people say it takes two, if one person says no while the other person says yes, y'all friends. If two people say yes, y'all couple. So I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't. I mean, I'm gonna throw that out there, and y'all tell me. I think yes, and I think that there's men that can be friends with women and women that can be friends with men, and it's clearly platonic. It's like brother and sister. I absolutely think so. But like you said, I mean, there's a lot of people who cross that line. All it took was somebody to say yes on the right day.
Hmm. I don't know. Okay, Nene. You know it pretty well. You know I got the homies.
I do. I mean, you
I
do.
can't.
Yes.
I can't. I couldn't imagine. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even gonna say the name,
Okay.
but you know one of them.
I do.
Yuck.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right. Yeah.
ew.
Ew.
Ew,
It's like
man. That's
ew.
my
He said, I do.
man. That's like my brother, man. As a matter of fact, just talked to his mama earlier today. Shoot. Like, what? I
Oh,
can't.
no, shit.
I
No,
can't. I can't talk to ew,
Yeah.
Gigi.
man.
No, what's going on, y'all?
I do.
No,
I get it.
just nasty.
It's gross.
Just nasty as hell to think
But like
about,
Deb said,
y'all.
okay, then that would you would be the no, and maybe he might be the
Exactly. It all boils down to a moment of vulnerability.
Hold on,
yeah.
did y'all
You know
hear? Did
what?
y'all
That's
hear Nene
real,
just laugh?
Deb.
Hold on,
Yeah.
did y'all hear Nene just laugh? Cause she know who I'm talking about. Ain't no chance. And
That'll be
let
a
me
fun.
tell you something right now.
It
Let me tell you right now. I'll bump uglies with a Klansman
Oh my
before
God.
I step with that bug. Okay?
Oh Lord.
KK. Lord. Oh, that's
Right.
wild. That's
Just
hilarious.
Oh, right.
all right.
Whoa.
Let's start with the A's, okay? Two down. Hell no, man. Y'all must be crazy. Y'all must be crazy, man. Ew.
Well,
and I mean,
And you know
Santos
what?
is her roommate too, right?
yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yep.
and
And
they've
you know
been
what
friends
else?
since
Yeah.
Seventh grade, she said.
seventh
Yep.
Years
grade.
old.
Okay,
I thought she
But
said 7
see,
years old.
Hakeem and Moesha,
I thought
same
it was
thing.
7. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
7
age
years
of
old.
7.
Oh,
Yeah.
7 years old. That's
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah.
you can't tell me they didn't kiss just out of curiosity.
I would believe they. I don't know. I guess we'll see.
We'll see. We'll
Yeah,
see.
because I
We'll
think
see.
these are great questions. Because it
Okay,
makes.
I have a cousin. I
Okay.
have a cousin,
Okay.
and literally her best friend is
But again, like that moment of vulnerability, we never know what'll happen.
no. Let me tell you, she's actually what 3 years older than me. Her and her best friend, who we all consider each other kind of like cousins. You know what I'm saying? Like they've known each other since they were 4 years old. That boy spent more time at her house than now. If the daddy allow you to come all up and through the house, well, and I'm talking about hang with the daughter every single day. They together at school. They together when they come home. They this and that. I promise you. Now, if you know daddy cool with it, ain't nothing there, dog. And to this day, it's still not, man. He's the godfather to all of her children.
Goodness.
And these are platonic, completely, like, not forget platonic. This is now kind of like a brother sister
Right,
relationship.
right.
I believe it can happen. I mean, and to be
For
honest,
sure.
say what now?
Oh, I said for sure.
Yeah, I believe. In fact, I think all of us most likely had a friend like that. And hold that point, because I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to it, but I'm with you.
Okay.
I think some people can and some people can't, but I definitely believe it's
Oh,
possible.
I've seen a reversal.
Yeah.
I'll give you an initial, Nene.
Okay.
JB.
Go on.
Broke my heart.
Wait. Who? Say it again.
Broke JB.
Say more words.
Go on.
Huh?
Say more words. Who is that?
From college.
Oh,
Lady said go on.
JB. You know JB.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, we like JB. JB was adorable. We like JB. Okay.
But that was the homie.
That was the homie. Yeah, we like
And
JB.
unfortunately, his old cackney, cockeyed fiance ruined our friendship.
Listen. This is hitting too close to home. We do not want the cockeyed fiance to find. We already gave initials. Now there's going to be a lot of cockeyed women who are going back to see if they man's initials sounds with JB.
We might get some comments.
Right.
Run up to get done up. I don't need care no more. I don't care no more. Pull up. I want you to.
We don't need that.
What they say to Nutty Professor, you're going to walk over, but you're going to live back.
Oh my
We do not
goodness.
need no cockeyed smoke, Gene. We don't.
All right, I want the cockeyed pigeon-toed smoke. Bring it
And with
on.
that being said, let's get back to Santos
I'm
and
sorry.
Carl and Rice.
I'm sorry.
That
I'm
part,
sorry.
Debbie.
I'm sorry, Debbie. Thank you. Get us back on track.
Man, where were we? like,
We're gonna jump on past her, the guy being him dropping his pants, and him asking her to just move past that.
So yeah. So it sounds like now we go back to now it looks like after all this happens, right? We go to chapter 5. Now we go back to Ryson. Now we're at Ryson's point of view. And this is where I think things start to get a little interesting, right? So as Ryson Grady first asks, how do I fix this? Meaning his composition. He's talking about a whole song. And Ryson is like, I'll tell you how to fix it if you tell me more about your assistant. Grady's face clouds over. Actually, it's more like a brick wall that takes over. No way. Grady shakes his head. Leave her alone, Rice. She's a good girl. Okay. Moving on. Page 23. They keep talking, he says, okay, well, and so Ryson says, okay, so maybe I have a bit of a track record. And he says, well, I can't. So they're talking about how if she's different. So, here we go. Page 23. He says, okay, so between both of them, they're having this conversation. Oh, what's so different about her, Rice? The way she was off on the other side of the room while all the other girls smothered me. The way she blushed when we busted her talking about some guy asking her to suck his dick. The way her southern accent was thick and sweet like molasses. That look on her face when she heard me play. I sound like a real, let's say, coward if I said any of that. So I just shrugged and doodled on Grady's composition pad. And Ryson says, well, the nice things you told me, and she just seemed nice. Grady says, she is, and I want her to stay that way, so hands off.
We always want what we can't have.
Girl, it sounds like the fruit and eating.
And
I'm
that's what makes me
Right.
think like, yes, possibly there was an attraction there from the beginning, but because the uncle says hands off, leave her alone, I think that creates a stronger attraction and pushes him more towards her.
Right.
good point.
True.
True.
Anybody else before I move on a little bit?
No.
So I'm gonna skate past a little bit of whatever because it sounds like as this interaction happens, Ryson and Grady they part ways. Ryson is in another room, Grady's in another, whatever. Looks like Kai is unable to find Grady. She walks into like a piano room where Ryson is there, and because she needed an invoice signed. And so now this is where I think the real interaction happened, right? There was the first one, but now we getting somewhere, okay? So I'm on page 25, and it sounds like Ryson asks Kai to sing. And so starting from that point, he says, so you sing? And he's thinking in his head, wow, Gray, brilliant. She looks back over her shoulder and around the room like she might be somewhere else I'm addressing. Yeah, you. Just in case she thinks I'm talking to my imaginary friend. You sing? Everything about her screams reluctance at the top of its lungs. The glance she gives the door is like her salvation. The way she taps the invoice against her leg a few times before turning to face me. The gate she locks over her eyes before she looks back at me. Yeah, I sing. I mean, I've been dancing more than singing lately, but I sing. What kind of dancing? Well, I do ballet, tap, modern dance, hip hop, you name it. I did it growing up. Right now, I teach a hip hop class to 14-year-olds, she snorts, twisting her wide, full lips into a half grin, half grimace. And yes, it's as much fun as it sounds. I've been doing small stuff in the few music videos, but nothing major. But you really want to sing. I want to perform, to do it all. Sing, dance, act. Ah, one of those, huh? A multi hyphenate. Are you mocking me again? Mocking you? No, of course not. She narrowed those tilted eyes at me and puts a hand on one slim hip. Okay, maybe a little. The stern line I usually keep my mouth in with strangers contorts into a grin. Come on, you spout some Jenny from the block ish and you expect me not to mock you just a little? Well, we aren't all born piano prodigies who gets to do exactly what we want from the time we're children. Some of us have to do it all and see what sticks. And then he seems like he gets a little perturbed by this. He says, him being Ryson, oh, is that what you call it? Her audacity, her ignorance of my actual life, and her nerve sends heat crawling up my neck and loosens my lips. Having no friends your age, working around the clock, being on the road more than 200 days a year? Does that sound like the easy way up to you? I shocked myself with that tirade. I rarely talk about my life before I emancipated from my parents. So now we getting a little bit more tea in the ricing. And the funny thing is how he getting mad and he set it off. He want to ask her to sing, and then like what she supposed to? She not no dancing clown. So I'm like, okay, but then we learn how he is emancipated from his parents. So now we got more questions. And so before I move on, did anybody want to touch on that point? Because
I can see with social media and how many parents are so eager to put their kids on social media and I hate to say exploit them, but to basically broadcast them to the world.
yeah,
I think that we are going to see a lot more emancipation cases happening in the future.
I agree. I agree.
I totally agree with you on that. Totally.
Yeah.
You mean emancipation for like the ones that want to be in the entertainment scene, or you just mean it that young generation period?
The entertainment.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
I was thinking she was talking entertainment. So
Yes. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. The whole
it's
streaming and putting it
now, I
on
was
social
about to say
media.
even just social media because you can make money from that now. So with them
True.
pushing the camera in their face, perfect example, the little girl doing the boots on the ground dance.
Oh yeah.
So
Man,
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah,
that
so
is
I
a
can see that
good
happening.
example, dude.
Yeah.
Yep,
I'm trying to still
Yeah.
yep.
understand how you have a meet and greet for like a 3-year-old. That's just
At a
weird.
club,
At a
Right,
club.
at a club with adults,
They said men came,
right.
girl.
and
That's
you
you know
have
what?
grown men traveling.
Traveling. It's disgusting.
Yeah,
Like,
That is some scary stuff.
it
Right,
is. It
right.
is.
The little
But we
honey
all
boo boo.
want the quick come up, and
Yeah.
that's
Yep.
what we're doing.
That
So
that's
you,
the yep. That's the root of it. You right.
yeah, and
Yep.
I can't imagine how if you have someone gifted like Ryson, the
yeah.
piano, all of this stuff has been pushed down his throat, and
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure that's where his emancipation comes from.
True.
Yeah.
And maybe taking the benefits from it and not sharing,
Mhm.
and you got to continue to work for more. So let's see.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's a good point. That's a good point. So I forgot where we were. Oh, yeah. So we actually learned a little bit more about Grayson. So I am now on page 29, and it starts off. I'm not. Oh, here we go. This is where we are. So as they're talking about him coming up, or him playing, or being like a piano prodigy, he says, "I'm not saying I didn't work hard at it. I did. I just didn't know I'd ever perform professionally again. When I graduated from high school, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I knew it had something to do with music, of course, but not exactly what. So I taught voice here with Grady for a while before going to Full Sail for production. Are you kidding? She grins. This is Kai grinning. I had no idea. So that's why you two are close. Yeah, and the fact that he's my uncle. No way. He and my father are twins. I link my hands behind my head. Talking about my father usually makes me want to play less, which is why it took me close to 7 years to play again professionally after I left the house. Twins? Grady's a twin? She shakes her head. So now we learn in the relationship, Ryson's being a little bit more open. As they're continuing to talk, he says, I guess it's like, and I'm on page 30, I guess it's like breathing. It's just an extension of who I am. Oh, give me a break. Grady strolls back into the room, pocketing his cell phone. It's just an extension of who I am. He actually does a frightening good imitation of me. What a load of crap. Don't listen to him, Kai, Grady says. It's just one of his lines to pick up girls. There's a reason I brought that point in. So now let's skate ahead, because now Ryson and Grady have another talk. And at the end of this chapter, it says, so now do we have an agreement? Grady picks up the pencil and poise it over the song we haven't worked on yet. You'll leave this one alone. I nod and start reworking the measures he's been wrestling with, but I don't say the words. This is Bryson talking. Another lesson learned from my parents, the hardest of ways. Don't make promises you aren't sure you can keep. Yeah, we're going to see where this goes. So, I didn't really get into a lot of the interaction between Ryson and Kai, because I kind of, as far as him asking her to sing and that interaction. But what did you guys think of that interaction?
I thought that they were filling each other out.
Understood. Understood.
Kind of,
Excellent.
not
Yeah.
really, not really trying to want each other. Just, this is just kind of like the opening interaction almost.
Yeah. Well, let's go on and move to chapter 6, because I think we'll be able to wrap this one up. So, in chapter 6, we learn that basically Kai, it sounds like she needs a ride to her hip hop class. Santos, he was coming back to pick her up. I'm not sure why he left, I couldn't remember, but he was coming back to pick her up, but he got in like a fender bender with someone else. And now Ryson, of course, being the, in air quotes, good Samaritan, says that he's going to take her to this hip hop class. So this is coming from Kai's point of view for chapter 6. So on page 32 of my digital book, Kai starts off by saying, I focused on Grady, keeping my eyes off Ryson, who stands back observing our conversation, arms crossed over his chest. I will not notice the subtle bulge of his biceps pulling at the sleeves of his t-shirt. I will not remember the heat of his hand on my stomach or his finger caressing my belly ring. Okay. Let's see. So, as they get in the car, they're leaving to go. On page 34, she says, so I tell him where to find the studio. We should be there in less than 20 minutes, but the first 5 minutes feel like forever. We ride in complete silence. No music, no conversation, not even a sigh from either one of us. Moving on, she says, why am I attempting to small talk? Back at Grady's, I was fighting what I felt, resisting the pull of him. Now that it seems to be doing the same, now that he seems to be doing the same thing, I'm stirring the pot. This is what girls do, but not me, usually. Ryson flicks me a glance before looking back at the highway. Moving down along the book, she says, really, Kai? You're still trying, but I can't help it. Parts of me that have been numb for months are humming and buzzing every time he looks at me, every time he talks to me. Even though I have my reservations, now that he's withdrawn, I find myself drawing him back out just so I can feel those same feelings again. He looks over at me with one dark brown quirked up. So then it sounds like he goes ahead and takes her to the place, and then he goes and he looks. He says according to what's in the further in the story, he's taking her to this hip hop place. They get there. He puts on his glasses and hat because he needs to use the restroom. And then she's like, well, they're going to be doing a move inspired by Beyonce. She says, I smile and take off towards the locker rooms. Even though I know he's still there and that he's watching me, I don't let myself look back. So I got a couple questions. So now that this is the end of chapter 6. So we left off, we don't know if he's going to watch her in class. I'm assuming he probably will, but I don't know. He may have somewhere to go, but we don't know. I guess I got a couple questions. The first question is, oh yeah, I forgot. There's other part. I forgot another part that I wanted to mention. As she is basically talking about that she's trying to initiate more conversation. She even telling like embarrassing stuff about herself. So for example, like her name is Cayenne. And so it's like Cayenne. So he like nicknames her Pepper because she's really trying to, as she said, she said, I find myself drawing him back out so that I can feel those feelings again. So she's working hard, man. She's working on the clock. She's telling like embarrassing stuff about herself. And so he's, now that they're smirking and having a little good time or whatever. So, so here's the question. Okay. The first question is, and I know this is early, but as a character, and I know, and I'm taking it with a grain of salt, do you like Kai as a character? Like as a homegirl, like do you like her?
I don't have a problem with Kai because remember, we're picking up in this part where the story picks up at.
Mm-hmm.
She just lost her mother.
Mm-hmm.
And people grieve.
Mm-hmm.
This I don't have a problem with her. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think she's done anything weird or, anything that warrants any kind of, criticism or what have you. So far, it's on up and up with Kai. At least for me.
What about you, ladies?
True. Yeah, I don't really think I got any. Just I don't know. Just neutral. Yeah, feelings of just. I think still trying to figure out what kind of character she is gonna be, but I agree with Shane so far. So good to me.
I would agree. There's nothing that really stands out. Again, I do feel
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I do feel like they did set the stage for the reader to be more protective over her. So I can
Right.
definitely understand where Grady's coming from. But the next question is at this point, do you like Ryson?
I
I'm
do.
I'm on
I
the
feel
fence
like
about Ryson.
You on the fence, Debbie? What else? What else, did y'all? What you think? What you think?
Feel like I
I'm sorry.
feel like his I'm trying to figure out where the attraction is coming from. Or there was a slight attraction there from the beginning, right? But now
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get past, are you literally going after her because of what your uncle has said? Stay away from her.
Mm-hmm. Deb.
So I'm on the fence with him, and I think again it goes back to y'all just said like she set the stage for us to kind of be defensive in the defensive for Kai, like
Mm-hmm.
we're protecting her based off of what she's already gone through.
Sure. Sure.
And I think that there's a protection there coming from me towards her as well because I don't know.
Mm. What y'all think? What you think, Sheen? What you think, Toya? Do you like Ryson so far?
I do. I think in my mind, I'm just thinking of typical, like how some dudes can have that where maybe they had that phase, or sometimes they get that stereotype put on them because they are in the music. They do look good. Women flock to them, and sometimes it's assumed. So I don't know, like if we'll get into his history, but according to I guess like Grady, like some of that was insinuated, like he has that pattern and lived their life. But I think that same story or movie or just even real life of like sometimes people do change, and sometimes meeting a different type of woman or meeting a different type of man makes you stop some of your old patterns or games or however. So I don't know. I guess I'm kind of jumping gun thinking like, okay, maybe he at a different place, and because he was able to know a little bit when Grady was telling him like prior to her before, I guess she was telling him about her mom passing. Like I think he was already noticing like she's different. So I think if anybody ever been with somebody, like, and they tell you, like, well, I ain't never really dated no girl that did this, or I never. So I don't know if I think it's the attraction because he can't have her, or if she really was giving signs of, like, she's not interested in him for all the reason the other girls, and, like, his guard is maybe a tad down of just because she hasn't even attempted to be like the other women when they realize who he is or that he's in the game. So he might, genuinely be trying to look for something different. So I'm I'm kind of still like, okay, he good so far. He really just did too much.
I hear you. I hear you. That's some great points. That's some great points. What about you, Sheen?
I mean, for Rice, you know what I'm saying? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Finding out that he was emancipated from his parents,
Mm-hmm.
it made me look at him a little bit differently. Also, I like how he stood up for himself when, when Kai, kind of made a generalization of him saying,
Mm-hmm.
oh, well, basically trying to make it seem like he grew up on a pedestal or, he has some kind of
Right,
privilege.
right.
I like how, I'm saying he, respectfully, set the record straight with her. So I like how he defended himself. But then also, like Debbie was saying, the uncle already told you to step off, but you're not gonna step off. So you don't listen.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a problem with that. You don't listen.
That's fair.
Okay?
I'm a,
Why can't y'all ever listen?
I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, well, I'm gonna be. I mean, this is so. I'm gonna be honest. I don't like him. I liked him.
Okay.
I liked him during the chapter 3. Now again, this is a great aside. We just talking. We just kicking it. I liked him on chapter
Right.
3, and I'm like, okay, it's a connection. But then, by the time I got to chapter 6, I'm like, I don't like him for her. I don't like him for her. Now I do got reasons. I got reasons, and now again we just chilling, we just kicking it, and he could change because Tori brought up some good points. He could change, he could be this and that. But I got reasons. Would you like to hear the reasons why I say I don't like him?
Of
Yes.
course.
Cool, cool, cool. So I don't like him. I think that he is one of them F boys, and if not, he has F boy tendency. Okay, so let's go to
Okay.
step one. Let's go to number one. Okay, we've all said this, so I'm just going to just say it briefly. We heard Grady tell him, don't leave her alone, leave her alone. Matter of fact, he said it more than once. He said it maybe 2 or 3 times in one chapter. One chapter, y'all. One chapter. And then he made a point. So not only did he make a point to tell Rice and leave her alone, but then he makes a point to, while they are like talking about her breathing and singing, and they have their little moment around her belly ring and all that stuff. Grady makes a point to say to Kai, Kai, don't listen to him. That's what he tells all the girls. Some kind of line like that, right? Remember that when he was like, he mocked him, and then he was like, that's his line he tells all the girls. So he made it a point to even tell Kai, girl, he tell that to all the girls. Don't even fool with him, right? Okay, so hold that one. Hold that point. Okay. The other thing that kind of got, and here's the thing, it didn't get under my skin because I'm okay with it. But with that, in addition to the other points, is like it was a yellow light, was that in the book, he was categorizing girls. Remember, like, he was like, okay, these girls do this, these girls do that. Like, he was categorizing coochie. Now, if the rest of the reasons that I had wasn't there, then that wouldn't matter because anybody would have done it, especially him being him, right? He's a successful, good-looking guy. So, anybody would have did it because there's lots of girls, hordes of girls smothering you, coming over. Even if you was a girl and you dated dudes and we were famous, we probably categorized dudes the same way. So it wasn't a deal breaker for me. But because of the other points, I did go ahead and put that in I did put a pin note for that. The other thing is, and again, I'm petty because I'm feeling really petty today. So just ride with me and I'll knock it through. So I got time today. I got time and we're going to wrap it up. So the third reason is because remember, I think it was, let me see, page 23. Remember when Grady was like, okay then, Ryson, she's so different. So what's so different about her? Now, Ryson gave like 3 or 4 things to say. Off the top. She was moved like this. We connected like this. But what did he do? He said he couldn't even get nothing out. He was like, well, I mean, she sounded nice when you talked about her, I guess. See, I don't like that. I don't like that you can't communicate that with your uncle. And to me, now, again, this is just a grain of salt because I'm not saying he's this person or he's going to do this. But to me, that alludes to someone that may not communicate well. It alludes that you may be in a situation with this dude and he may have some things he want to say, but instead of saying them, he's just probably going to give a smart answer and walk off. And I hate that. Now, I'm not saying he's going to do that, but when he did that in that moment, instead of, even though Grady was like, look, you do this to all the girls, and basically badger him to leave her alone, he couldn't even give a reason to even get Grady off of him. So I'm like, I don't know. Okay. And then number 4, I think we're at number 4. I don't like how he was, and to me, it was like he was playing games. I know to y'all, it may not have seemed because y'all are nice people. Y'all give people the benefit of the doubt. But remember when he was in there messing with her little belly ring and doing all this stuff? When he said this, it made me think this, right? Okay, so remember when he asked her to sing? Later in that book, he said something that made me side-eye him a little bit. He said that he was prepared to be underwhelmed. So I'm thinking like, well, if she couldn't sing, what was you going to tell her? You know what I mean? Like, you asked this girl to sing. Basically, it's kind of embarrassing to kind of put her on the spot like that. So why would you do that if you thought she couldn't sing in the first place? Now, I'm doing a lot. I get it. I'm doing the most in this. But I'm thinking like, what? Like, I honestly think that he did that to basically have the upper hand in the situation because of who he was. Like, in other words, to kind of put her on the defense, to be like, okay, now sing for me, because he kind of fumbled, and when he was talking to her earlier. That's why I call this the real interaction, because now it's like, instead of just talking and I'm like, just talk to her like a human. My bad, I'm picking with your southern accent. Where you from? How you been? Da-da-da-da. No, he put her on the spot, and I think it was to put her on the defense. I think that it was a taste, not a whole big thing. It's not a whole huge thing, but I think it was a taste of manipulation because of he had the upper hand in that moment because he wanted to talk to her. Okay, Last but not least, because again, I came with receipts. Last but not least, this is the reason why I do not want Ryson to talk to her. And I'll wrap this up because I have some reasons. Last but not least, remember Toya when you were talking about having guy friends and sometimes you could be like da 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 da. Okay, I've known each and every one of y'all ladies, right? I know each and every one of y'all. I known when you like had like homeboys and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Think back, and you could tell me because I've had homeboys and stuff too. But think back because and how do I put this? There has never been one time where I've had a homeboy, right? If it wasn't like some weird ulterior motive or something like that, I've never had a homeboy to when someone else wanted to talk to me, that homeboy said, leave her alone, and he was a good guy. I'll wait. In other words, let's say Dave wanted to talk, Ryson wanted to talk to me. Santos is my homeboy, okay? Ryson said, Santos, hey man, your girl cute, man. What's good with her? What's up with her? There's never been a time where Santos would have told him, man, leave her alone, don't talk to her. Or he would have came to me and said, yo man, Nene, don't talk to him, don't do that. Don't, he trash, he trash. And he was a good guy. That has never happened to me, not once. Not once. There's never been a homeboy. If the homeboy was a cool dude, if the guy who wanted to talk to me was a cool dude, I've only had homeboys, and if it wasn't no ulterior motive or nothing, I've only had homeboys that say, you know what? He seemed pretty cool. I don't know too much about him. They may say something like that. You may give him a try. He seemed like he a pretty cool dude. I've never had one that says, yo man, he a dirtbag, and he was actually a good guy. I'm just saying.
True. But I guess here's my thing. All of that is fair and been probably valid and realistic of it don't work out and people get hurt or, cross lines that shouldn't have crossed lines. But I guess it's just sometimes it does happen to where even with homeboys where they know how they are, but sometimes homeboys don't get into that emotional or that true, like, I don't know, conversation of like if a person really is or deeply a dude, since we're talking about this, for example, like of never getting into like, they true, I don't know, their own healings or be a burn or why they are the way that they are, if they dogs or however. So that's valid and that's true. But it made me think of, as you were saying, that remember the movie Boomerang, even though that's different because dude with Eddie Murphy dude was also trying to holler at her, but it shows that Ryson and Kai still have this chemistry, even though both been told don't mess with each other talk. They obviously still, like she was saying in the car, found herself still wanting to have small talk when she knew not to, but just this underlying chemistry. Not sure how strong it's gonna be, but how Eddie he messed over, Holly in the sense, but that they still genuinely had this because she still allowed him to, to come back even after he did whatever he had to do with the kids, just work his way back in. But that he was a dog up into Angela, you know what I'm saying, into Boomerang. So it's just that kind of like, just sometimes, even if it's not often, it do happen. And even though, remember, he was telling Dry, like, he was like, I'm changed, she changed me. He like, no, man, you ain't changed. Ain't nothing changed about you. He still was on that, but Eddie ended up with her. And he changed.
You're right. You're absolutely right, Tori, because, and matter of fact, when he did dog out Angela, that's what brought the Tony Braxton song, remember? Love should have brought
right.
Like you're right. And you absolutely right. And it also made me think of, when you were saying that, it made me think of Best Man, Lance Sullivan. Remember Harper?
At first I thought of that, then I thought of Boomerang.
Yeah. Remember, it's like, man, Mia, she's a nice girl. Real. Yeah. So
that's real.
But remember, he also cheated on me. That's
right. That's That's true. That's how I was like, that's true. Just don't know. So just to go to say, like you said, just never know how this gonna. I'm just curious to see how this gonna go and what this gonna grow into, if anything. So yeah, that was real though. That was real.
Cool. Well, I think we're going to see what's going on in chapter 7. Anybody else got anything to add before we go ahead and stop this and end this thing today?
Nothing further from me.
Nothing for me.
Cool, cool,
Yeah, that was a good point end on me.
Yeah.
cool. Well, hopefully he's gonna change my mind because I'm rooting for everybody. I'm rooting for everybody.
Yeah.
But
Like I said, I'm very much still on the fence with him.
me too.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Well, we'll see how it goes, ladies. Well, thank you for your time, and we'll try to do. Let's see. We did 3 through 6, so we're going to aim for 7 through 11. Does that sound about right? About 4 chapters. That's close.
Sounds good to me.
7, 8, 9.
Okay.
Perfect.
Because I thought we were
Okay.
supposed to be up to 10.
Oh man, you may be right, D. But 7, 8, 9, 10. So yeah, 10. So you already had. So 7, 8, 9, 10. We'll do 7 through 10. Cool.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
See y'all later.
All right.
All right, cool.
Okay. Y'all
Bye.
have a great week.